Well, hello everybody and welcome back to a highly unexpected second video today for Permaculture Thursday. Within about half an hour of setting the meat aside in its wonderful little cozy environment, everything was so nice and happy and it was perfect. It was bubbling along. It was bubbling along real good. It was bubbling along so good that when we got upstairs so I could show Chox, hey, look at this beautiful new Melomel I'm working on, it was starting to bubble out the top. So changes needed to be made. Now this is where we're at and this is where we're going. I hope you enjoy this second Thursday update. So we had to empty that carboy into something bigger. We found an empty 5-gallon or 18.9 liter or whatever they technically weigh this thing out as water jug, and we proceeded to dump everything into here with some more water, as you can clearly see. But the problem is we're a little worried we may have completely screwed the pooch on this. So we are taking another batch of honey, which is probably still not enough for this liquid measure, but we're going to put it in there anyway. We're throwing in another batch of yeast just in case we killed these yeast. The new yeast can feed on them, and in theory that's a good thing. We're also going to add some more berries because I had like this much water in here before, and now look at this. So instead of a Saskatoon berry Melomel, which was my initial hope and dream here, we're still going to keep trying that, though. It's not like I'm done growing Saskatoons. We've got some raspberries and some blueberries we're going to mix in. And yeah, that's where we're at, carrying on from here. That's the love and support.
It's awesome.
Alright, so we've got limited room for more moisture or more liquid. We're just going to pour some of our original mix into here to soften things up. It's got some weight. And try and get some of those berries on the go. We're going to put our activated yeast into here, and we're going to try and incorporate our honey into this mess. Obviously things have already gone terribly off plan, but that is in keeping with projects around the Bear House. So we will update you in a few minutes. Okay, so resourceful, solution-minded, whatever you want to call it. You'll notice I have a thin strip of pond liner here because the 5-gallon jug that we're using doesn't fit this stopper that we have for that bubbler. So I got to get creative, which essentially means we're using pond liner like rednecks use duct tape. If you can't fix it with pond liner, it doesn't need to be fixed. I'm going to make my own rubber bung that will in theory hold this at least a little bit better and a little bit more upright. And what do you know? That's better than it was. So, one more little problem solved on my rapidly growing brewing adventure. Right, once again, we'll be back in a bit. We're still waiting on our fruit to melt. We'll see you then. Alright, so we'll get a clip of adding the honey to this whole mixture because my honey says honey's sexy. So I do what honey says. Wise men do. Pro tip there, guys. Just saying. I know what my demographic is. 75% of the people watching my shows are men. Did you know that? Anyway, the honey carries on. I think we may be at risk of overflowing this little tiny pot. But tragically, it's the largest clean one I've got. So that's just the nature of the game today, isn't it? Chox is just chuckling away behind the camera, trying so hard.
I'm watching it happen.
Alright. We'll get back to you with how this turns out. At this point, we've gotten rid of any of the fruit icebergs that are in there. The honey has kind of mixed itself in. So here's our second batch of hopefully well-activated yeast. Judging by the bubbling and brewing that was going on with the last batch, I'm thinking that part worked. Not quite as many blueberries in here as raspberries, but whatever. This is basically emergency berry edition. Now we got to get it from in here to in here. I think that's 2 people, no camera. We'll check back in a second when this sucker's full. Isn't that horrible flooring? Anyway, here on our absolutely terrible flooring, we have our revised batch of Melomel. As you can see, it is ever so much more than the 1 gallon this thing started off as. We've got a better color going on here, and well, 2 things of yeast in there should work out just fine. As I understand it, these yeast will die when the alcohol gets to a certain level. So basically extra shouldn't really be an issue. And you know, what's the difference between using 1 packet of yeast on a 1-gallon brew and 2 packets on a 3-gallon brew or a 4-gallon brew? It's actually less per volume doing it with 2 packs in this thing. So yes, things are going to get interesting now. In theory, this should be ready around Leif Erikson Day. Do a little research if you want to know when that is. And yeah, get the airlock back on that puppy. Put it up by the altar. Alright. And here it shall sit until we determine that there are no other threatening issues going on with it. So yes, it's got a nice color to it. A lot more honey in there, a lot more liquid. Hopefully this works out to be a nice drinkable brew, because we're into it for a lot of fruit now. Alright.
Honey.
Yes, as my honey says over there, wisecracking from the stairs, we're into it for a lot of honey, not a lot of fruit. But yeah, well, she's got a good point. What do you do? Alright, anyway, I need to edit this and throw it up, and that way you guys can see what the heck is going on with this Melomel situation. I should have gotten clips of it overflowing. That's my fault. You know, I'm still working on being a better YouTuber every day. She told me so, and getting that wisecracking from the stairs too. But she did told me so, and I'm like, no, it'll be fine. And here we are. So I'll see you tomorrow with a chili pepper update. Take care, everybody.